Cue us.
Welcome back, everyone, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BETSPERTS. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christenson from further away today. Joining me, as always, looking pretty in pink, Mr. Andy Molitor. Do you like the movie Pretty in Pink? Are you a Molly Ringwald guy?
I prefer 16 Candles and obviously The Breakfast Club. Way better. But yeah, pretty in Pink. Yeah, yeah, that's two different leagues, but I put Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles pretty close. I prefer 16 Candles. In today's world, all of those movies have like super problematic racist stuff, which is when you rewatch it, it's like, oh no, the Asian guy, like you can't do that. Like, it was 30 years ago, longer, 40 almost or something like that. You can do whatever you want in the 80s. But yes, I am pretty, it's more of a salmon. But yeah, feeling good, looking good. We had a fun yesterday. Was it Wednesday yesterday? Yeah, we did a long deep dive on the Chiefs, and we didn't catch as much shit on Twitter as I thought we would for kind of dogging on them a little. I mean, everything's just a math problem. You know, like we say, you know, the Chiefs, yeah, if this and this and this works out, might not lose a game, but if these things we're worried about happen, they might not win their division. Like there's always, you know, there's a range for every team. And right. I mean, the Chiefs seem to have a very reasonable fan base on Twitter. Despite as successful as they've been, there are fan bases that are less than reasonable, and the Chiefs are not one of them. So yeah, it was a good one last night. Talked some Chargers too, and golf is going now. It's a little slower to get going because we don't have a full field. It is a 69-man event because Patrick Reed is still convalescing. But they do start a little later in the morning, and they're not doing, 3-ball, I don't think. I feel like there's probably 2 guys off each tee. I haven't even looked at scores yet, man. I've been working on football stuff. So I'll have some golf stuff for this afternoon. Alex will have some tennis. Somebody else put me on Martin Sova, too, or somebody else I know liked him. So I double dipped there.
Sure.
A bunch of my AT people liked Emil Ruusuvuori.
That was a big one.
So I parlayed those as well. Like I just put way too many tennis bets out yesterday, and tennis. Yeah, my tennis went pretty well. So some more of that from you, and we'll talk some NBA and some NFL at the end, and we'll start with WTA. We're heading to Sweet Home Chicago. Charles Schwartzel.
Hey, Ruusuvuori was the big group pick yesterday. If you want an ATP pick today, a lot of the smart guys like Carlos Alcaraz. So take him and do what you will with him. A lot of smart people seem to be on him, but that's not my forte. What I do like, though, Andy, women's totals. Cornet is playing Vondrousova here today. I expect this to be a very competitive match. I actually thought a lot about backing Cornet in some way. You get her plus 4.5 games, maybe a little sprinkle on the money line, but over 20 looked like a really solid bet to me. If you have 20.5 at standard juice or better, that's fine. This 20, I think, was minus 15 or 20. I think it was minus 20 when I played it. So happy to pay the little juice for that half a game. The 20 versus 20.5 can be worth that in tennis. So again, I'm expecting a long match here. Again, as always with a lot of these totals, I'm seeing a set of 7-5, 7-6, something like that. So 7-5, 6-3, something like that. We're in great shape. So we'll take the over with Alizé Cornet playing against Vondrousova, and that's in Chicago this afternoon.
Nothing on Lake Erie there? Is that Lake Erie?
I had one, yeah, Cleveland. I guess I always think of the Cuyahoga River. That's what. No. Anyway, there was one pick I had. It was an over. It looks like it's going down in flames unless Sastovich can make a big turnaround. So luckily we missed that one, folks. But we got a bunch of U.S. Open qualifiers as well this afternoon. So don't worry. It's not just one pick on Thursday.
Yeah, there is so many matches. Like when I go to try to find these in Flash Score to turn on the notifications, I'm like, God, Flash Score needs a better search function, honestly. But yeah, ton of matches every day. Fewer and fewer as women are being eliminated, and men too, I suppose, on their qualification side. But it looks like you have at least 3-4 for today.
Yeah, it'll be pretty busy up to tomorrow. Then they kind of get a break, less finals and stuff over the weekend, and things will ramp up quite in a big way on Monday for the U.S. Open. We might even be able to talk some outrights tomorrow, Andy. So everyone cross your fingers and hope they get the draws out this afternoon. For today, though, again, we're in the qualifiers still for the U.S. Open. Going to take Francesca Jones, the young, I believe she's Australian, versus Jacqueline Adina Christian. JAC had a pretty solid clay and grass season, but generally doesn't do as well on the hard courts, where Jones has played better in the past. I start to go look at some of my numbers. I have Jones as a small favorite, right around like -120, so +115, +110, and I actually think this moved against me a little bit this morning, so you might be able to find a +120 or +125. I like her chances and think that she should be, again, a small favorite here over Christian. And then a handful of parlays here. Annalena Friedson, we're going to put her together with Olga Danilovic. Again, with parlays, a lot of times I'm not generally too afraid of taking juice, but when I have a bunch of money lines like this that I like, some are a little juicier than others, I'm not afraid to sort of put them together. This is a spot actually where a lot of these women, I would look to maybe take alt spreads, but it's qualifying, so that's not really an option. So we're going to take a handful and put them together. Annalena Friedson, she is, I think, playing Lucretia Stefani. I'm sorry, I don't have that name written down, but Friedson playing earlier. We're going to put her together with Danilovic. Danilovic playing Sasha Vickery, an American player that gets into this event because she's in the U.S. and I'm not sure if she was a wild card, but is starting to struggle from a point standpoint to even maintain the ranking you need to get a qualifying spot here. Just played very poor tennis, generally struggles with a lot of injuries. So I like Danilovic's chances here. The younger player finally starting to get out of her teens, and as her body grows up a little bit, she's getting more consistent. She's very talented. I think we'll see a lot of her. Harriet Dart is the woman that's playing Lucretia Stefani. Talked about Stefani a little bit yesterday. Went against her, was very surprised that she won that match. Obviously, it was kind of a mess for her opponent. So happy to go against her today against Harriet Dart, who's been playing nice tennis, much better on hard courts. We'll put her together with Ursula Radwanska, not Agnieszka. I forget exactly what her sister's name, Radwanska, the older. But Ursula here, we're going to put with Harriet Dart. Radwanska's going to play Frederica de Sara, someone, is a younger player that making it in this field, which is a pretty big accomplishment for her. I don't expect her to make it very far. She generally doesn't even play lower WTA events. And then the last one, Katie Bolter, who's playing Vitalia Diachenko, an older player that's kind of running out matches as before her ranking points fall. The way tennis generally works, everyone, you get points for tournaments that you won last year. So you have sometimes older players that are holding on to a bunch of points that are kind of in the last year or so of their career. But take those points to get entries. You can win prizes. I mean, just for showing up for things like this. So a player like that against Katie Bolter, I think, is mispriced. The Brit, very good on grass. I think people haven't seen her play in a little while, so we're getting some value there. And again, we'll put her with Kalinskaya. One of my favorite players to back on hard courts is playing another player similar to Diachenko, Greta Matikapulo, who is another older player, again, kind of phasing down. So a handful of women there. I put them all kind of in singles here. You could round robin them with threes if you wanted. Put them all together as a sixsome. I think it was like 11 or 12 to 1. But a bunch of money lines I like today. Put them all together. Do what you want. But that's what I did.
Round robin that stuff. Get weird with it. I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look for some of these. There's so many matches. It's such a pain for me to find some of this stuff.
Friedson may have already started.
You should only be betting Cleveland and Chicago. Makes it easier for me. Speaking of only one event, there really is. I don't know. There's a Champions League event, and there's a Champion Tour. I think there's actually a Euro Tour, maybe, or Japanese Tour, one of the other Sunshine Canadian, Mackenzie, whatever. But really, we're looking at the FedEx playoffs only for golf this week. If you watched last night. Was that last night I golfed? Yeah, it was last night I golfed.
Mm-hmm.
He gave out Brooks Koepka at 29 to 1 to be the first round leader, and he is -2 through 2 holes. I just checked the live odds, down to 10 to 1 live, which
on pace for 18 under.
Yeah, you can't birdie them all if you don't birdie the first 2. So hopefully that one would feel good. Honestly, like hitting a first round leader kind of pays for your tournament. Like if you're betting those, properly. You literally shouldn't be able to lose money unless you're going absolutely hog wild on everything else, which I didn't because I don't love this tournament a ton. I did play a few, though, as we are going to go over here. I only played one first round, and really I didn't like a lot of the stuff in the morning. Also, I had some problems yesterday at the office with the internet and my wife having jury duty and the kids being a pain in my ass, like everything. Sorry, Sorry, darling. But everything was against me yesterday for betting golf, which may be a blessing in disguise. But I did look at some stuff last night. I kind of put together some of the ones I liked this afternoon. So Jonathan Vegas over Mr. Munoz today at -110. That's a round one play. These all go off fairly soon, somewhere around noon, 1 o'clock, maybe a little later East time. But just that one, Vegas can struggle with the putting, but otherwise all-around game has been pretty solid lately. And then a couple of handicaps on the full tournament because these are a little bit of a juicier favorites, and I laid the 1.5 strokes, so they do need to win by 2 strokes to win these bets. Full tournament, you cannot win on the cut. There's no cut, so it's a little tougher this week too. You don't get the, hey, he won by 1 stroke, but they were on the cut line win bullshit. But Alexander Noren, not somebody I back a ton, but I'm looking to fade Harmon a little this week. And my guy, Taylor Gooch, over clean living Chris Kirk. I'm just going to take those two at -1.5 handicaps, getting +108 and +105 respectively. That's it for now. I will probably look after round one once I get a good feeling for some of these. Apologies if you bet Oosthuizen. I shouldn't apologize yet. He hasn't withdrawn yet, but man, he said some bad stuff about his neck. Where basically like, yeah, my neck hurts a lot. It feels better, but if it goes to hell again, that wouldn't surprise me. So he's a withdrawal waiting to happen. That's not good right now. But,
hopefully, he does the nice thing, withdraws beforehand instead of going out there and it costs us all a few bucks.
Yeah, just maybe hurt your neck on the driving range in the morning. That would be better.
Is that better or worse than him finishing second?
Probably worse. Yeah.
NBA award market season, Andy. It's upon us. We talked about most improved player last week. I got another one this week. The NBA's 6th Man of the Year award. Looks like that's up a bunch of different places. We'll talk about this, obviously, but if you want to, did a write-up, posted this on my BETSPERTS account, and you can also find on Twitter at Ace NBA Previews, where I'll be putting out a lot of this stuff, just a longer form version. You can see some statistics. But as you look at the 6th Man of the Year award, historically, this goes to kind of a spark plug kind of guard, somebody who comes off the bench, scores a lot of points. Like last year, we had Jordan Clarkson. We had Lou Williams. Jamal Crawford won this award a handful of times. It's also a player that tends to be on a very good team. Going back, the average record of the team that the 6th Man of the Year award winner was on was around 65%. So, and it generally goes to veterans. I think part of that is it takes time for some of the better players to accept a bench role and get used to it. So, we're looking for veterans that are going to come off the bench, score some points, be kind of an instant offense factor, and they're going to be on good teams. And as I started to look through and sift through a lot of the odds, there were some interesting names, but 3 stood out to me, especially at their prices. The first, Derrick Rose. He is the backup guard for the New York Knicks. He is a huge piece for them. When he plays, their record is significantly better. I think they were 5-6 games over 500 with him, about 10 games under 500 or something without him. And I'm not sure I did that right. But again, makes a big difference on that team. Is in New York. It's always nice to have somebody in a big media market where you're going to have more voters and things. So Rose at 18-1 fits the bill, is everything we're looking for. The Knicks record might not be in the 65% range, but they're going to be a winning team. I expect them to be a top 5-6 seed. So that should be good enough with how good I think Rose can be off the bench. Patty Mills is going to be the backup, the first guard off the bench for the Brooklyn Nets. I think he'll get a chance to play a lot of big minutes, honestly, on that team, especially if Kyrie Irving and James Harden are missing games. But he will be coming off the bench. Again, a spark plug guard, exactly what you're looking for. He's been competitive for this award a few seasons when he was with the Spurs. I think finished 2nd or 3rd in voting a couple times. I think he's going to fit in perfectly with this Nets team. We saw in the Olympics what he's capable of in big moments, how he's able to raise his game. So I think we're going to have a couple games where he puts up some nice points, a couple big moments at the end of games where he's making 3-pointers, and the Nets are going to be great. I think everything's going to line up for him. And also Brooklyn, Andy, in New York, more New York media members. Finally, Carmelo Anthony is going to be...
That's where the media lives.
That's right. Another big media town, Los Angeles. The Lakers signed Carmelo Anthony. He's going to go play with his buddy LeBron. As I start to look at that team and who's coming off the bench, I struggle to see who besides Carmelo Anthony is really going to be bringing any offense, unless this Talon Horton Tucker guy is a lot better than he has been. So as I look at this team, he isn't a guard, but I think he's going to come on the floor, be instant offense for a Lakers team that's going to be very good this year. So happy to grab him at a pretty big number at 50-1. Again, all 3 guys coming off the bench, instant offense. events. Check out my fuller write-up. You can get my thoughts on a handful of other guys I didn't bet and a few other things. But 3 guys for us for Sixth Man of the Year, Andy.
Where'd you write that at?
I wrote it at Ace NBA Previews, but I did share it on my BETSPERTS account. So you can find it there and also at Ace NBA Previews where we put out all this player prop stuff.
I just want to go find it. I would actually like to read this. So, and apologies if you saw me waving around and stuff. I had my internet went out. I'm actually running this off a hotspot off my phone to a laptop. So I had someone stop by trying to fix it. I'm like, man, just a horrible timing. I'll give you a call in 5 minutes once we're done. But I'd be super happy if my internet was fixed. That would be awesome. That's
it's good to have
first world problems, but it is the biggest pain in the ass when that does go out. Right. Let's close with some football. Let's close with our WynnBet prop market for the day. Not prop market. More, I don't want to call it an award market either. This is, I guess it's a season-long prop in who will win the fewest games. And if you do look at this, the Texans are favored. But every day that ticks by that Deshaun Watson's not traded and it's looking like he will be able to play for the full season, just based on how this legal stuff is working out, I don't know if they should be chalk. It's a pretty poor team, and it won't be talented, but just having a high-end quarterback probably gets you, 3, 4, 5 wins just by accident. That sort of stuff happens. And, I've been down on the Lions. The Jets are having all kinds of defensive injuries. But really, one of my win totals, I went what was it, my synthetic alternate unders on the Bengals kind of has me looking at the Bengals at plus 850 and then maybe the Jags at 1,300. I'm excited about Lawrence, but man, that I've heard some bad quotes out of camp already. Players aren't pumped about having Urban Meyer as their coach. So those are a couple I looked at right away. Anything for you, Mr. Christenson?
The Texans number was something I looked at early in the offseason. This was up at like plus 400. So it's taken some money. Yeah. It's come down to plus 210. I agree. I don't think that I would play it at this number, not just because you missed the best of the number, but if Watson's back, I mean, they're going to win a couple games just because he's their quarterback, especially in that division that's kind of soft. And that was kind of the same thing I had with the Jaguars. Like, I don't know if you can bet on the Jaguars simply because they get to play the Texans twice. We don't know what the Colts are going to look like from an injury perspective. So I kind of crossed those two teams off. I don't mind the Lions, but the Jets and the Bengals really stuck out to me. I like what you said about the Bengals. That's a solid division. We know Joe Burrow isn't 100%, and that's not a great way to start the year. Jamar Chase is looks like he's moving in the opposite direction of Watson in terms of his possible ability to play. We'll see how that goes. So a lot of negative things for the Bengals. And then the Jets at 8-1, I think is, if you believe the Patriots are going to be good, if you believe the Dolphins are going to be good, I think this is a great bet at 8-1. The rest of their schedule isn't too easy. They're going to be tough in division. So I was looking at Jets and Bengals around 8-1.
Yeah, I don't hate that. And yeah, I already am looking at betting a few Jets games based on some of the injuries they've had. So if you do want to bet those, do check out our title sponsor, WynnBet, if you're in a legal state. I just was on the phone with one of their traders yesterday, looking to be opening in more states. The Arizona stuff's flying now. A few other places that are legalizing their. Obviously, they want as many people to sign up and work with them and use their products. So as soon as states are popping up, they're working their ass off to get the proper registration. I don't know how that whole stuff works. Like, you got to fill out a bunch of paperwork. I'm sure it's just red tape and bureaucracy, but they are working. So I'll let you know once we have more states up. And if you want, you can get your $500 risk-free bet in one of the states that's already there. You can sign up using our links at Brown Bag Bets. And with that, let's call it a day. And I'm going to go see if this internet's going to work, and that'll be exciting. And then maybe have some lunch. Good luck to you. And yeah, thanks a lot for everybody who joined us in the chat, everybody who joins us every day. If you're in the YouTube, give us a thumbs up, and let's hit the music, Matt. Huh?